call to order our first virtual meeting, I guess. So, Madam Clerk, if you could do the roll call.
Roll call. Mayor Garrett.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Here.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Present.
Councilmember Siddiqui.
Here.
Councilmember Stallings.
Yeah, take yourself off of mute, Donna.
That makes sense. I'm present.
Councilmember Stallings.
Present.
I'm doing roll call. Thank you.
Present.
Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, we're gonna do, I'm sorry, thank you, I appreciate it. We would do the Pledge of Allegiance, but we were still trying to figure out how that really is going to work. So I don't know where Scott went. He had a flag.
If you stop sharing your screen, I can share my flag.
And then what you can do is either we can all, I mean, I have no idea how this is really gonna work. So you all are just gonna have to, you know. Thank you. So I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America
and to the
and the
republic
which
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I had to take it out because it was had to take it out of my ears. Okay, so next on the agenda is approval of the agenda, and I have to share my screen again, just a second. I'm sorry, I was just reading something. It said from our stream administrator to please keep microphones muted until the Q&A session begins. Questions asked in the chat will be answered during that section. Users will be able to unmute one at a time. So that's for the audience, right, Cheryl? Okay, thanks. All right. Let's get back to where I was sharing. Okay. So next up is the discussion regarding the emergency orders and open meeting act changes. And so just to not have to go through this whole
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Oh, I'm so sorry, I jumped forward.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'm sorry, for the electronic meetings, all votes must be by a roll call.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, and
Thank
was
you.
there any changes to the agenda?
Not to the agenda.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So roll call, please.
Okay, one moment, trying to unmute.
No problem.
Oh, guess I am unmuted. Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, I did answer
Roll call. Councilmember Ferguson,
Present.
for the approval of the agenda.
Approval, I grant.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui,
Yes.
and Councilmember Stallings.
Yes.
Motion carried for approval of the agenda.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And maybe I'm going so fast because I'm trying to get this over with. Because it's painful to me. Okay, so next on the agenda are the action items. First up is the discussion of the emergency orders and open meeting act changes. So as everybody knows that, well, this is where the correction needs to come in at. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we're not adopting anything, but there is a correction on there. It accidentally refers to Governor Granholm instead of Governor Whitmer.
Okay, so that's in the meeting notes now. I mean, that'll be in the minutes that we are correcting that, right? Yvette?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. So anyway, back to, we all know that Governor Whitmer enacted her executive order 2020-15, which is to allow us to be able to do what we're doing right now, and that's a temporary, I'm sorry, because the pictures are in the way of the words. So this is painful. There's a temporary authorization of remote participation in public meetings and hearings and temporary relief from monthly meeting requirements for school boards. But I'm assuming, and Cheryl, correct me if I'm wrong, that's for all meetings, not just for school boards or
Correct.
staff. Okay. And we are now instituting electronic remote meetings until, well,
At
it's,
least April 13th and probably beyond.
yeah, okay. So, and then the other one is the Executive Order 2020-21, which is a temporary requirement to suspend activities that are not necessary to sustain or protect life. So that would be the Stay Home, Stay Safe directive, which means that it prohibits in-person work that is not necessary to sustain or protect life. And a component of the order is to identify critical infrastructure workers and essential services. And also, Oakland County Executive Culture has also issued an emergency order 2020-3 for control of the pandemic by closing the children's playground equipment. And also emergency order 2020-5 for control of the pandemic, required screening and social distancing measures at open businesses and operations subject to the governor's executive order 2020-21. And all of these, the actual orders are in the packet for the public's review. And we want to thank everyone for their patience as we work together to navigate these uncharted waters. Special note of appreciation to all the employees and contractors who provided dedicated quality service to our residents, and a special note of heartfelt appreciation to our police officer, firefighters, EMS, and healthcare providers who are truly on the front line to protect our health, safety, and well-being. So I think that covers 5A. Did I miss anything, Cheryl, Scott?
Nope,
I think
couldn't
you
have
got
said it
everything
better
covered.
myself.
Okay. So I'm going to skip down to action item B, which is the discussion and then the adoption of the resolution declaring a local state of emergency for COVID-19. Just give me a second as I scroll all the way down there, unless somebody already has it printed.
Page 26
Thank you.
is the cover memo. And as you're scrolling, Mayor Garrett issued the local state of emergency on March 23rd. According to state law, that can only be in effect for 7 days, which is what precipitated us needing to have the special meeting today to ask for the city council to vote on extenuating the, extending the emergency order. And the resolution that's in your packet declares that there is a local state of emergency. It continues the mayor's declaration and the appointment of Chief McKee as the emergency management coordinator, as well as city-owned and occupied buildings are closed to the public. Personnel staffing is determined by the city administrator, and the city administrator is authorized to take appropriate administrative measures, and it also addresses public meetings, which also allows for the electronic meetings, which we are having today.
So I would like to make a motion for that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution declaring a local state of emergency.
Roll call. Roll call.
No, it's not. You have to make the
Second.
motion first.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Sorry.
second.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Roll call. Mayor Garrett.
Before you do that, could I just make note of a correction on page 29 of your packet? And in 3 spaces, I think it refers to city manager, and that title should be city administrator.
Okay.
And I have a
I'll
question.
redo my motion to adopt the resolution declaring the local state of emergency for COVID-19 with the said corrections.
I second. I do have a, can I ask a question?
Wait a minute, it's been moved and seconded. Now you got me all confused. Everyone has to hear me. So it's been moved and
Discussion.
seconded. Thank you. Now, yes, Donna, yes.
Okay, so it says, oh shoot, hello? Okay, there's a 7-day period. So does this have to be voted on every 7 days?
No, the 7-day limitation under state law is on the mayor's declaration. The council resolution is going to remain in effect until, so long as the governor's state of emergency remains in effect, unless council chooses to either extend it further or end it prior to the governor ending hers. But right now it's set up to run the same course as the states.
Okay,
For the resolution.
so McKee is the emergency management coordinator. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you do roll call?
Thank you. Roll call. Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui,
Yes.
Councilmember Stallings,
Yes,
and Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next on the, I'm sorry, I started talking before listening. Sorry, Yvette, I appreciate it.
no problem.
Next is the discussion and adoption of an emergency ordinance to amend the City of Lathrup Village Code of Ordinance by adding Chapter 3, Emergency Preparedness.
I'll make a
So-
motion to adopt an emergency ordinance to amend the City of Lathrop Village Code of Ordinances by adding Chapter 3, emergency preparedness.
Okay, hold on one second, because I wanted
Yeah,
Cheryl to
Bobby.
explain what that meant. I wanted Cheryl to explain what it meant.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No problem.
Well, essentially, looking at our charter, it was not very specific in terms of who was empowered to make what determinations. So this ordinance helps to clarify that. And Scott can also chime in, but it confirms the appropriateness of the city administrator closing the municipal buildings and facilities to the public, and acknowledges I, as the city administrator, have authority over the staffing, authorizes the city administrator to do appropriate things during the emergency situation, some of which might otherwise come to the city council to make sure there is continuity in the city business operations, and to allow for the physical public attendance at certain meetings to be held electronically.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So Bruce, you're still doing the motion?
Again, so I'll move to adopt an emergency ordinance to amend the City of Lathrop Village Code of Ordinances by adding a new Chapter 3, emergency preparedness.
second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion?
I will add to this that because this is an emergency ordinance, it's waiving, normally a ordinance can't be adopted at the same time it's being introduced. Under the charter, there's a provision that allows for emergency ordinances to waive that 2-meeting provision. So that's what this is doing. So tonight's will be the first and second reading of this ordinance. It will become effective immediately upon council vote to approve.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, will you do roll call?
Yes, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes?
Councilmember Siddiqui,
Yes.
Councilmember Stallings,
Yes,
Councilmember Ferguson,
Yes.
and Mayor Garrett.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. The next item is going to be action item D, which is the discussion adoption of the resolution authorizing and directing administration to enter into a letter of agreement with union employees and to draft a personal policy supplement for non-union employees regarding COVID-19 COVID-19 emergency sick time.
Well, Mayor and council members, this has been a very fluid period of time. And I want to take a moment and thank our attorney, Scott, as well as Chief Scott, who have been very helpful in trying to help us navigate through this and put in place the mechanisms and processes that are appropriate for our organization, as well as working with our labor attorney, Steve Schwartz. So what you have before you is basically an affirmation of the Families First federal legislation that was recently adopted, and applying it to our employees as well.
Thank
And it
you.
essentially allows for 2 weeks of, or up to 80 hours of paid sick time during certain circumstances, such as a quarantine.
Such as, I'm sorry, I didn't get the, oh, you said as a quarantine. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So can we make the motion now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing and directing administration to enter into a letter of agreement with union employees and to draft a personnel policy supplement for non-union employees regarding COVID-19 emergency sick time.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call,
I do.
please. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The sick time pay, it comes from, is this a part of the, forgive me for, this is a part of the the COVID-19 Response Act. So is the sick time paid through this act or through city funds?
This, as I understand it, would be through city funds.
Okay.
And there is some possibility that there may be federal reimbursement, which by the city adopting the emergency resolution, the emergency order resolution, that would avail them of the opportunity to take advantage of some of those grants.
Okay. I know that there's a tax credit for it, correct, too, right? Or have we
From what
done
I've
that
seen, that
far?
was for businesses. I haven't seen anything relative to public entities.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Siddiqui,
Yes.
Councilmember Stallings,
Yes.
and Councilmember Ferguson,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next discussion, next action item is 5E, and that'll be the discussion adoption of temporary amendment to the personnel manual adopted 4/15/2019 regarding COVID-19 emergency sick time.
Mayor and council members, relative to the last action that you took, which empowered me to put forth these policies, this one actually is addressing the temporary amendment to the personnel manual relative to the emergency sick time. And just as a side note, we will be working with our unions relative to our police officers for their policy as well.
Thank you. I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the temporary amendment to the personnel manual adopted on April 15, 2019 regarding the coronavirus emergency sick time.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Stallings,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
and Councilmember Siddiqui.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And next, for the action items will be action item F, which is the discussion adoption of the budget study session dates.
So it's hard to believe it's that time before us again, and what you have presented is basically coinciding with your already scheduled upcoming meetings. So the first study session would then be this coming Monday, April 6th. Then your next regular meeting, so that would be the study session, would be before that time as part of your study session. It'll be at the budget study session, May 4th, May 18th. And hopefully we'll have the information for the capital improvement plan at that point, along with budget amendments, and the study session on June 1st and the adoption on June 15th of any amendments if necessary. So one of the things I need to know, if these dates work for you, do you want to add an additional date in case we need it? And do you want to change the start time of the budget study sessions? I believe right now your study sessions are at 6.
We probably want to start the budget study session. This is my suggestion. Start them at what, 5:30?
I would agree for the budget.
Yeah, that works.
Unfortunately, that won't work for me because I'm working from home right now. So usually I don't get off my regular job until after 5, especially now that I'm at home. So is there a compromise there?
You get off at 5?
After 5.
Well, let me see. Salim, what is your thoughts at 5:30?
That's fine with me. I can be flexible.
Okay, so then Ian, just join in on the budget sessions then, when you can.
Okay. Are you talking about the April 6th?
These are all the budget.
So everything that's scheduled, that's on the schedule.
Just
We're
have it.
confirming that tonight, I think. So everywhere it says budget, just saying that we'll have, the meeting will start a half an hour earlier.
We're going to go back to how our meetings are you know how we normally would start our meetings at 5. Well, actually we ate at 5:30, but
Yeah,
So-
I could join after I finish up my regular gig. No problem.
okay. What were you going to say, Donna?
So again, where it says Buddy, somebody have a dog named Buddy? Okay, budget study session, wherever that is highlighted, that's where we will come together at 5:30 rather than the 6 o'clock time. I
Right,
just want
but
to make that clear.
yeah, but it looks like, so for the study session, it looks like only April 20th, I'm sorry if you hear the dog, April 20th, May 4th, May 18th, and then June 15th would be 5:30. Is that correct, what we're proposing, Cheryl, right? Or we-
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I don't know if you wanted that for April 6th. I don't know if you really, because you can go for any length of time on April 6th. That's your
Right.
first meeting of the month.
Right.
Okay.
So technically, it's just, we need to do the 5:30s for the April 20th and the May 18th and June
Correct.
15th.
Okay. Okay, that's what
Okay.
I want to clarify. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Well, with that said, I make a motion to approve the proposed schedule for budget study sessions and adoption.
Anyone want a second?
Second.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any further discussion regarding this? Hearing none, all in favor? I'm sorry, roll call.
Roll call, Councilmember Ferguson,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui,
Yes.
and Councilmember Stallings.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Under action item G, which is not anything, I don't see anything actually in our packet for it. So I'm assuming this portion is for our discussion regarding the coronavirus. Sorry, regarding the coronavirus. And basically the city of Lathrup is going to take the same stance as, I get, following the rules of the governor, and that's basically stay at home and just to stay safe. And so I have no idea what else to even say, because there's no one here that's experienced it before. So we're all in this together, as figuring out what to do, what does our lives look like. So I did look it up and looked at the area code for 48076 regarding how many incidents, or how many, what's the word am I looking for?
Cases.
Right, how many cases? And
Yep.
it does say that we have 123 cases, but as I kept trying to zoom in, it does not differentiate between Southfield and Lathrop. So I'm going to try to get in contact with Oakland County to see
Yeah.
whether or not we can figure out if there's a way to get a number for Lathrop opposed to that zip code. So we'll see what happens. That's a bit much, but I think it's also the fact that 48076 is the area code too, where the first outbreak of the virus was found. So maybe that's another reason why it's so much. But
I'm sorry, Kelly, what was that total number?
123.
Okay. Confirmed cases. Okay.
Yep. Didn't I write that down?
And I believe the information is now posted on the Oakland County website.
It is on their dashboard.
And just to let the council members know that we have instituted some screening mechanisms here, because people do need to come in periodically for various things. So there is the screening checklist where they have to indicate if they have any symptoms at all. We also will be taking temperatures before they can be admitted to start work, and those thermometers have been on back order, and we'll hopefully have those in place on Wednesday. So we're taking the precautions that we can and trying to stay 6 feet away from each other. So just doing what we can to keep things going to the extent that we can possibly. But we have a phenomenal staff here and our contractors, and they're all just pitching in and doing whatever is needed to make certain things are still happening.
Cheryl, do you have masks for the staff to wear?
Not so much for the staff. For the first responders, we do have gloves. I got one from Louis. And we're anticipating receiving a donation as well. So.
I know some people that are working on homemade masks as well that would donate too. So.
Yeah, and I do know a person too that's actually, she started a couple of weeks ago making them. So so we do have places to get them. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, that's the only updates that I have. As soon as I get information, as everyone else is probably doing too, any information that we get from the governor or from our county exec, then I'll share them as we get them. So next up is mayor and council comments. My comment is keep yourself safe, stay in the house as much as possible. It is very shocking to me to see how many people are actually still out and not heeding the warnings of this, And I'm also telling people to really take care of your mental health, because this is overwhelming. Within my own friends and family arena, it was a total of about 7 people within the week who passed away. So it's a bit much. And if you don't keep your mind together, you can easily, go into a depression or something. So that's my only comment that I have at this time. Does anyone else have any comments?
I just received a message from Scott, Chief McKee, and he did indicate that we do have some masks, gloves, glasses, and suits on hand, as well as an organization has volunteered to sanitize all of the police cars. So we are taking those measures, as well as the additional sanitizing of the inside of the building.
Okay, thank you. Been getting questions about the census. And one of the questions is that we are our city says Southfield. And is that something that we are supposed to pursue? Or they were asked, should I correct that, or can it be corrected, or do we just fall up under the umbrella of
It looks like we fell under the umbrella. I'm not sure about the correction going forward in the next 10 years, but I tried really hard to correct it, and it just takes you in a full circle.
Okay. So the answer
It seems to be related to the GIS system overall, and we've been trying to work on getting that so that it can differentiate between the city of Lathrop Village and the city of Southfield. I also brought it to the attention of Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence's office to see if there can be some distinction made between Lathrop Village and the city of Southfield, even if it means issuing us a unique zip code. So that we don't have that issues.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk off you. I looked into that when I first got on council, a separate zip code, and post office basically said there's no way that's ever going to happen. I mean, apparently for situations like this, there's been, I think they said, I don't remember the exact number, but it's only been 4 or 5 times where they've ever have issued something in a situation like this, which was surprising to me. But that's what I was told by the postmaster in Southfield.
Yeah, and Ian had looked at, and Ian had requested that we look into that when he first took office as well, and we found simple. And I actually think I provided to the council at that time the procedure from the post office to go about getting your own zip code created. And much like you found out, Bruce, it's next to impossible to have it done.
Yeah. I think we all, in our walks through the community, that was something that we all wanted to do. And I think it began because of insurance prices. Our car insurance prices were really high because of that. So that's not going to happen. So Kelly, I think the point is just to go ahead and put it in with, the answer is to just go ahead and file it.
You did, like when I did mine, you had no choice. It's either you had to do it, or I think it's an 800 number that comes up or something. So I didn't even bother calling the 800 number because it's just not. It's not gonna let you correct it in the. At least if you do it online, I don't know if you can.
It's my understanding that the 4-digit extension on the zip code is what makes the difference between Lathrop Village as opposed to the city of Southfield. But it might be worth trying to explore. In light of emergency responsiveness, if you can better identify a community based on their zip code, I think it would be helpful. So we could try a different approach to see if there might be a convincing argument to sway the powers that be at the post office that it's time to give us a unique and separate zip code.
That would be good. And the other question is, are we posting to make sure that we're getting as many responses to the census with this COVID-19 taking full stage, front stage? How are we reminding and getting out? Should we make phone calls? What should we do to make sure that our community, stays focused and get their applications in?
Well, keep in mind, we're a very skeletons crew here right now. So we're doing what we can through social media. And I just posted this weekend a reminder, because I think it was about 38% was our turn-in rate so far for Lathrop Village. So each of you is an ambassador. So as you talk to people, or as you have your own circle of influence, definitely reach out and remind people, as you're sitting at home and, watching Netflix, take 5 minutes and turn in your census form.
Can we can we make robocalls or anything? Just can we activate a call to the community?
I suppose all things are possible. I'm trying. Yeah, I'm knee deep in everything else here right now, so I don't have the capacity to look into what would that look like.
Okay.
Yeah,
you want me to look at
process,
it? I can probably take a quick look into it.
The process, if I remember correctly, is that at some point there's a door-to-door campaign that goes on from the houses that have not returned their or have not completed their census.
Right. Yeah. After the April 1st deadline, but you're right, Bruce. But the way things are going, they probably will have a skeleton crew on the door-to-door which I think that's kind of what Donna was trying to say there.
Yeah.
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 And this is so maybe this is a time where we can step in and help you, Cheryl,
I would welcome that.
get the word out of. We've done robocalls before, haven't we?
Not since I've been here.
Not from the city. Not from the city. We haven't exercised any robocalls from the city.
Oh, okay. So I thought it's
Just
it's
in
a critical
campaign.
time. We can't make up this. We can't make this up until 10 years from now. So I think it's our obligation to try to do whatever we can to make sure that.
Yeah. I think the first week of
Right.
April, Susie was planning on having a pizza party to encourage people to participate in the census process. So we obviously can't do that public gathering now. So I
We
think
can
she's
send the pizza
looking.
to people's houses.
Yeah. We could have a virtual pizza party.
That's what I'm saying. We'll have to come up with something a
Virtually.
little bit more creative.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea, just to try to, maybe through the various pages that we have and social media sites to remind everyone to return their census or to do the census.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. The last thing that I was thinking is that we have in front of us the what you can do and what you can't do. And Kelly, you mentioned earlier how people are still out hanging out. So there's a list of what you can do, and I'd like to just read it while we are public. What you can do from the governor's instructions. You can go to the grocery store, pick up takeout food. You can go to pharmacy to pick up needed prescriptions. Engage in outdoor activities like walking, hiking, running, biking. Go to the hospital or secure any care necessary to address a medical emergency or to preserve your health or the health of a loved one. You can fill your car with gas. You can return to Michigan to a home or place of residence from outside the state. Leave the state for a home or residence elsewhere. Walk your pets or take them to the veterinarian for needed medical care. What you may not do is leave the home to work unless your employer designates you as a critical infrastructure worker. Participate in any public meetings, visit someone in the hospital, nursing home, or residential care facilities, or go to the mall or to a restaurant. So I just wanted to read those while we had the public's attention.
And I did have a question. Thank you. Regarding complaints or concerns about businesses that are operating that are considered non-essential, and how we handle that. And this is more for Scott Baker question, is all we can do is simply call the 800 number that the AG sent out, or is there something that we as, or the police department, is there something that they can do?
No, at this point, I would defer any inquiries to the AG's office and the Michigan State Police, because ultimately it's going to be the AG's office that will be making an interpretation of the executive order as to what is an essential or is not an essential business. So inundating our police department with calls about, hey, I saw this business open and I don't think they're essential. Can you go over there and check it out? It's not going to do anything, because what we may perceive to be an essential business, Attorney General may feel is not, or vice versa. So any inquiry I've received thus far, I've referred them to the AG's office for an interpretation.
And we do, if it's questionable, we do have the ability, and I think we're planning to have the police department send a letter of inquiry to the business.
Okay. And then when it comes to the fines are handed out from the AG's office, right? Not from us.
It would be prosecuted as a misdemeanor citation, which would be handled in the 46th District Court whenever they open back up. And the maximum fine, just like any other misdemeanor, would be potential up to 93 days, Oakland County Jail, and/or $500 fine.
because there is a business that's in Lathrup that I want to say that was, I don't know what day it is. Today's Monday. So it had to be Friday, I think. But it was, the parking lot was overflowing. And I know it's not a restaurant. It's not a doctor's office. So, Cheryl, I guess I'll get with you later because you shook your head like you knew what I was talking about. So,
Already on it.
okay, so you know what I was talking about. And there were people, they were hanging out in the parking lot, which just kind of concerned me. So, I was just curious about that. So, sorry. Does anyone else have anything for the good of the
Yeah.
cause?
Yeah, I have just 3 observations. So the first one is I've been living through this COVID-19 since January. I think I kind of shared in passing with some of you when we went to our council meeting. So all of this was stemming from suppliers in China, and I've been really stressed over the last couple months. And I had prayed that it wouldn't happen in America, but my prayers weren't answered, and it basically looks like we're going to surpass China, we're going to surpass Italy, and the way Oak Park is going right now, it's going to be crazy. So all I have to say on that is please try to adhere to the governor's wishes and her mandates as far as this emergency order is concerned. And if you see someone that actually tries to violate that, please talk to them about this, because there's so many falsehoods going on about COVID-19. Everyone seems to think it's like the flu, and it really is not like the flu. It is really contagious, and it's absolutely nothing you will ever see in your lifetime. I mean, you can get to 80 years old and you're not going to see this thing again, but it will get worse after this, I guarantee it. That's the first observation. Second observation is from a resident perspective. I've been working with the police department because we have seniors in need. And I'm glad Officer Zhang is online to just hear this again. I just really appreciate what Officer Houston has been doing. He's been checking on our seniors, and there's a handful of residents that's online right now listening that really have stepped up and partnered with me to try to help pass out food. So we typically just grab the food if there's a need. We drop it off at the police station. You know, we usually text the officer, and then they disseminate the food. So we're going to continue to do that because it will get progressively worse. And I welcome anyone to join us because, our city's not that big. And I'm telling you, we're already feeling it. We've got Detroit firefighters who live in the city that are actually infected and trying to get better right now. So we're working through that. The other observation is, so for the seniors who are in need, I suspect that there's a list that is a handful of seniors, but those of you who are listening, and if you know of seniors that are going to need help, just try to steer them to either me or just send an email to Cheryl, and we'll try to help as much as we can. I had another observation, but I'll get it after someone else chimes in here.
I appreciate you doing that. I will defer all emails to go to you, or actually defer all emails to go to
Yeah, just send it to me. That's
because
fine.
I don't want to do the overload to the city administrator or the police department at this time. So
Yeah,
if
that's
you could
fine.
take that on, that would
I'll
be
take it.
great. Thank you. I appreciate
Yep.
it. Donna, you were about to say something?
Yeah, first of all, great job. And of course, if there's something I can do, I want to help. And no, is this assistance though, is it also to some seniors who are home alone? Like I know a couple that we have to go and literally go and help them because they have no family members. What is the extent? So we're really dropping off food. Is there any other?
Yeah, the extent is that if there's a need, we gather up the food and we literally take it to the police station, and then they really distribute the food. We don't make any personal contacts with the seniors in need because number one, we don't have their address. So we're just working directly through the police department where there's control there.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything? So, just to kind of to continue off of what Ian was saying, it might be a good idea, and I've been saying this to a few people, if you do find yourself where you have to go to the pharmacy or to the grocery store, you know, to ask your neighbors, is there, you know, something that you can get for them, or, you know, be willing to, you know, pick up things for other people. Because to me, that's another way to alleviate having a bunch of people out at one time too. So
Yeah.
just a suggestion on that one. If there's nothing else from the council, is there anyone from the public that would like to say anything? We'll unmute your phone, the phone lines. I think we're gonna unmute their phone lines, right?
Pick up my yard waste. And then you picture too.
We can hear you.
What did you say?
She didn't know she was unmuted.
We're not sure who said that.
It was Ann Richards. What did you say?
Say anything?
Oh, okay. So you said something about yard waste? Oh.
Yeah.
I was unmuted. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. Hey, you know.
I was just gonna say, I thought my question sounded kind of a little unimportant in the scheme of things. So I was just joking that I'm not gonna say pick up my yard waste and my dog. So.
How's our police force doing?
Someone asked, how's the police force?
Yeah. How's the police force doing?
What do you mean, as in health-wise, or?
Yeah, probably health-wise based on what's going on in Detroit. So maybe Sergeant Zhang can give us an update.
Was that what you were asking about, their health-wise?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay,
The
okay, thank you.
health-wise.
I didn't want Ian to just assume that that's what you were talking.
He was on mute. I was trying to help him out.
As of right now, we're very healthy. We've got one officer being tested right now, but other than that, we have no officers out or in quarantine. So we're staying healthy.
Great, thanks. Good job, guys.
Amen.
For sure.
How has it been delivering the food to the seniors? I really did kind of want to know how that was working for you.
We allow our afternoon officers to make contact with the seniors. We figure that's about the best time for them to make contacts, not too early, not too late in the evening. We tailor that to basically how our elderly want to be contacted as well. But at this time, yeah, we have our seniors on our list, and when we're given tasks to do, we go directly to them. And those that don't wish to be contacted by door, we call on the phone as well. So we're covering all of our bases here.
Excellent.
And in response to the question, at the present time, all of our officers appear to be in good health, and we're praying that that continues.
Thank you very much.
And what about our employees?
Yeah, and employees, secondly.
Amen, amen.
Yeah, how's the staff, Cheryl? We haven't seen them in a couple weeks.
We have one person that's off by directive from their doctor. There's no indication that they actually have that virus, but just as a precautionary measure.
Okay.
Great. Well, Cheryl, I know that you took precautions immediately, so thank you for what you did, because you've been moving since the first day it started, and I'm sure that's helped keep our staff healthy. So thank you.
Yes, we had to get on top of it quickly, especially being so small and in such relatively close quarters. And we definitely needed to get the precautions in place as quick as we could.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everyone's cooperation in doing that, as this is definitely uncharted territory.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I will admit, I see a lot of people walking and riding their bikes over the last couple of weeks. I have to say, yeah, just keep the sanity. And I don't know if we have any good news today. Do you have any good news to share with us, Cheryl? We need some good news before we get out of here. Seriously. I've walked my dog 4 times today, by the way.
You're breathing. That's great news. So is there any other comments?
I think it's going to be 60 on Thursday. That's good
Yes.
news.
That's
Oh
good
yeah,
news.
that's even good news.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that's bad news for well, if you're a COVID-19 fan, that's bad news for the virus because it hates hot weather.
That's
So-
not true because it's in Florida and it's in
yeah.
California. So, anyway.
Slowing the virus spread.
Yeah, I want to just say, if I can just encourage anybody that we, my family was hit too. But I have seen, unfortunately, they're not speaking about the healings that's taking place, the people who are coming through and being healed. It's only how many have passed away. But I have witnessed healings, my own, brothers. So I just want to just encourage that some people are really surviving this. Not to say go outside. So I'm not
Right.
encouraging people to go outside, but just to take the fear that it's a total death sentence.
It's
Some
not.
people are. Okay,
You're right.
thank you, Ann.
You're right. Can I just say one last thing? So worst case, if any of us get this virus that's on video or online, because I mean, the chances are very high. And when you recover from that, the medical administration, the medical body, wherever you are, would probably like to get your antibodies to kind of do additional research. And that's kind of the push right now because, there's not going to be a vaccine within 18 months. We already know that, but they're trying to speed the process by studying the virus after someone has gotten it and recovered. So they're taking blood samples and going through that. So all I'm saying is I'm not wishing it on anybody, but just try to be safe. And if you do get it, just try to go through the process of healing yourself and don't try to be with the family. Try to isolate yourself and get the right medical treatment.
Well, thank you everyone for your comments. Is there anyone from the public that has any further comments?
Yeah, I just want to say this is a great forum.
Oh,
Zoom.
good. Yeah, I like it. I really, I do. I think it's easier, and believe me, I've gone through a couple of them, and this is my favorite, I must admit. Go buy Zoom stocks.
Yeah, I'm all thumbs, but this is pretty easy to get into.
Yeah, it is.
So hopefully by our next meeting, we will work through the live streaming component.
Yeah. So, was there anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. So,
Can I ask Donna to put my picture behind her the next time?
I don't know how I did. I would love to. I would love to have you right behind me, Ian.
I'll send you a big one.
You'll protect me. Yeah. I don't know how that happened, but
I'm trying to cheer you guys up, for goodness sake.
I know.
Nobody said. That's what I'm saying.
My partner, that would be great. Trust me, it's strange for me to see. I look a lot better on the picture too.
Can we all get that picture? Wow.
Yes.
So I would take a motion to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, Bruce.
I second.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. I hope you all have a restful.
We need a roll
night.
call.
Roll call.
We don't do the they don't do
Roll
roll
call
calls
on-
for closing out the meeting, unless you just want one. Yeah, it's up to you. But we don't have to have one to close it.
Okay. Well, God bless everybody. Bless our city. Bless our city. And I like the way we're coming together and to protect our city. So God bless everybody, your families.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Donna.
Good night.
Have a
Good
good night.
night. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Back at you.